Hello and welcome to Garblag Games with episode 4 of Arcana, Spectres of the Past. Unfortunately, Aaron can't be with us tonight as he's busy with laser dolphins. But the rest of my wonderful players are here, so I'll let them introduce themselves. Dan, you're up first.
Hi, my name is Dan. I am playing Pendaran Mab Elad, a soothsayer, and originally from Britannia, but was recruited into Roman society at an early age, and now seems to find himself on the forefront against the forces of darkness. Yay!
I mean, you've been doing a good job, so they can't complain. Right. Lawrence, tell us about Lucius.
Hi, I'm Lawrence. I'm playing Lucius Cassius Aeneas. He is a scholar who is originally from one of the patrician families of Rome itself. As proved by last week, I think, he is fairly skilled in his specialist subjects, but when it comes to the more dangerous parts of the work of the cohort, he is in need of some additional training.
Yeah, I think you have a debello of 3, don't you?
I have a debello of 3. It is not possible, I think, to be any lower as actually starting with the character.
Lucky you have fate rolls.
Yeah.
Which is easier with a D3. You have a 1 in 3 chance. Roger, tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Roger, and I'm playing Titus Sergius, who is a Rhaetian explorer. So Rhaetia is kind of modern Switzerland-ish. So been in the Roman Empire for a very long time. And yeah, he's very good at hunting around and nature-y things and not much else. Although he's good at that in theory. My rolling has proven he is terrible at everything.
So yeah, this is going to be a combat-heavy episode tonight.
So how does running away work?
Just run and make a bunch of rolls, and we'll see if you survive.
Nuts.
No. So yeah, Aleko will be tagging along in the background. Dan, I think it was your turn to do the recap.
We good. Okay. So when last we saw our heroes, we were heroically defending a barracks. We had figured out that the tokens that we had randomly picked up from across the barracks were in fact some sort of warding spell. So we hurriedly tried to begin to put them back as soon as possible. Didn't get all of them down. Some spectral undead type thing started kind of leaking in, thrashing us around a bit. Yours truly did a successful kind of prayer to the gods to kind of create a warding buffer. However, I can't take credit for that because that was actually all Lawrence's idea. I just did it.
Teamwork.
Teamwork.
It makes the Roman Empire work.
So yeah, we did that, and then a witch appeared. I want to say a witch. I'm not sure if witch is the right word.
Spooky ghost lady.
Maybe.
Yeah. Some
also occurred to us
lady turned up and saved Aleko from being murdered by the spirit.
A few of us have taken a bit of a pasting. It also occurred to us that we had taken these token away from the head honcho bloke's house as well.
Only one of them.
Only one of them. Which, of course, in no way means that one of these things could slip through and murder them. Not at all.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Hopefully, they're just...
Hopefully, they're concentrating on us.
Yeah, their baleful eyes upon us rather than anyone else. Okay, so that's what I've got. Did I miss anything?
No, that's pretty much where we left off. And so Lucius had just rallied what remained of the troops out in the darkness beyond this massive shroud of scented fog that you've created to protect yourselves. And slowly you see people, shadows trickle in. You can still hear this inhuman screaming and baying and yelling coming from the street. I think Titus had reached you as well by that point, I believe.
I think Titus was.
I was still outside of the main central bit, but I was nearby.
Yeah.
I was trying to. I think I was dragging Wounded back to the.
Yeah. So yeah, Titus appears out of the fog, carrying a couple of wounded. Helping a couple of wounded.
I was going to say dragging is probably more accurate.
Yeah, dragging them by the legs. Back
I'm not
into into this main building that you have now warded by Pendaran's probably waning magical skill alone, as it's putting a large amount of strain on him. Casa also appears slowly out of this fog and looks rather injured and says to you, where did she go? Looks a little rough and worse for wear. At that point,
I'm going to go back out and try and find more wounded.
Try and find more. Okay. Yeah. Maybe roll. It is rather dark now. The streets are filled with the little
Would it be some kind
alleyways
of
and
navigation roll?
Yep. Let's see. If you have Castra in Debello, you could use that. So Debello Castra. If you have navigation, I'll let you use that. There.
I got a 3 on my 2d10s.
You hear some muffled voices ahead and you're trying to find them, but in the dark, in the last tendrils of this fog and with the screaming and shouting, you get turned around and you could have sworn you'd heard people over there, but you can't find them. And you're just slowly searching further and further away, closer and closer to the gate where you were before. Pendaran, you suddenly realize there's a woman in the room with you.
Says stroking his beard thoughtfully and going, is she quite close?
She is quite close.
So he'll walk over and poke it like that. Just to see if she's actually there.
Slaps your hands away.
Does it hurt?
Just,
so actually, yeah.
Yeah, and just sighs and goes, idiots. And drags you back over to this bowl that you've been using as a focus to burn the bundle of herbs and create this smoke layer. And she
I feel you have me at a disadvantage, my dear.
Hold this end.
Who the hell are you?
Just hold this end.
What's she indicating?
Just holding one of the ends of the little. I can't remember what you put it in. It was like
a bowl thing.
Yeah,
like
a little
brazier.
bowl thing. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, brazier. Yeah, it was probably more of a brazier. Yeah.
Okay. I'll hold her end of the brazier.
She
My end
grabs
of the brazier, sorry.
the opposite end and starts
What are we doing?
mumbling something, and your already concentrated magical power, you feel sort of magnifying as sweat slowly begins to drip from her forehead, and the fog just gets so thick around you that you can barely see 2 or 3 centimeters ahead of you. Outside, Lucius and Titus, you feel it just waft over the entire inner area of the Castra. And the screaming, this inhuman screaming that you can hear, sort of reaches a crescendo and then completely cuts out.
Well, whatever I seem to have done, it's worked.
So
Excellent.
I'm just going to continue trying to find any
Yeah.
wounded people.
Yep, sure. Give me another navigate roll. See if you can find any more before. I'm just calculating at this point how many survive.
Oh no, 14. That's
that's okay. So you find another couple. They're leaning on each other. One's got a big gash along his thigh, and the other one has a cut all across the side of his face and along his arm. And they sort of hobble behind you back towards.
Yeah, I'll help them back towards the house. Or
Towards the house.
Whatever it is, central building.
I will sound the horn that I found last time. The one I was I'll sound that a couple more times, just to give a sense of direction to anyone that's still out there.
Yeah, the people still up and moving do seem to be flowing in towards you, and the sound of this horn.
I will also be quietly triaging, just watching as they come past, going, right, which ones do I need to see when it's safe to start dealing with the wounds?
Yeah. Like almost all of them are wounded in some way, but some of them are just cuts, scratches, and bruises. But there are some there that have been carried
mauled.
In.
Yeah, it's the difference between, yes, you will need something on that scratch, and yes, you need your guts putting back in.
Yeah. Pindaran, this woman holding the brazier with you slowly lets go of her end. There's just sweat washing down her face at this point. Her eyes close and she just keels over backwards.
Originally, that's not the first time that's happened to me. I'll run next to her and kind of see if there's anything I can do to help.
Yeah. She appears to be unconscious.
Okay.
The last thing you felt was like a big surge of magic around you, and then she collapsed.
So she clearly did something to buffer this spell. I mean, clearly I did all the work.
Yeah.
And,
give me a Demagia roll while you're there.
It's my Demagia. Sheet. Next on page.
I'm not at all worried that you might all die.
Roger, 17.
17.
2d6 to start with. Oh.
It was 2d6. You got 12 and a d5.
Oh, this is the other. Hold on.
That's the
No,
other slash.
I just tried that.
It's
Did you?
Rog, what am I doing wrong?
Slash roll. Slash R space.
hold on.
One,
Roger's gonna
well,
tell me this
d5. Yeah.
just obviously
Oh,
without
got it.
the
Right,
hits.
thank you.
Yeah.
Jaws.
While I'm here, I should
There we
probably
go.
transition us to
10
that so that everyone can see what's going on. That would help. For all you people at home interested in how well the Custodes are doing, roll
Badly.
wise. So it's a 10. Roll a d3.
Roll a d3.
Yeah.
Okay.
You regain 2 pietas as you kind of absorb the backwash of this sudden burst of magical power.
Here's the thing. My Pieta is back up to 30. That can't be right.
No, you were
'Cause I
down
only
to
had, like,
9, I think, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, let me change this. So that's 9 plus 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't save. Should I save my character sheet? Is that?
It should do it automatically.
Yeah, it should do
It's
it
a bit weird.
automatically when you exit.
Never mind.
Well, when I exit. But yeah, the Castra sort of becomes deathly quiet aside from the moaning of injured legionnaires, and it's very hard to see in front of you because of this thick acrid smoke around you. There's a smell of heather and rosemary and things thick in the air, but you don't get the sense that you're still surrounded by your attackers.
Right. At this point, I will duck it, sort of head inside and start looking at the wounded, going, right, we need as many of these on their feet as possible. See if anyone's particularly bad and start trying to help them, and then sort of triage my way through the worst.
Yeah, I'm just going to continue exploring the caster and finding any wounded people I can.
Do you have medicine? Does Lucius have medicine?
Yes, Lucius has medicine, which is why
Give me a medicine roll.
Okay. Oh, I think this is one of the things I'm good at.
Roll it all in D4s so you don't get a 3 like I did.
I can't do it in D4s. I've got 17.
Do it all in D3s now. So yeah, you can do 2 D6s and D5, or a D10, a D4, and a D3. What else can you do?
D.
17. D10, a D2, and a D5. It's also possible.
Let's see. See what I get. 8.
Okay. Yeah. You start moving around and assessing the injured, working on those who are the most injured, shouting orders to the other legionnaires around you to help you deal with with them and treat the ones that are pretty much only in need of bandaging up and so forth. Give me a D4 roll.
2.
So yeah, you manage to ensure that at least 2 extra very badly wounded soldiers make it through, but another 4 don't. Titus, you're out there amongst this thick smoke looking for people. Do you want to roll navigate again, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do navigate again.
Nice.
12.
Yeah. You
He is
come.
rolling lots of small dice.
You come across. You can technically only roll a maximum of 3 dice to make your dice pool, but I'll let you off just this once.
Okay.
You come across a particularly violent scene where there's a couple of legionnaires already dead, and then there's one next to 3 or 4 of these shambling corpse things that seems to have been cut apart, and then there's just one of them that is still alive, a legionnaire that's still alive, sat against the wall, slowly kind of panting.
All right, I will get him back to the
As
central building.
You pick your way through these corpses. You recognize the one in the middle, the one surrounded by 3 or 4 of them. The Optio is clearly dead.
Well, guess we're going to field promote someone. I'll take I'm assuming his helmet or something intact.
Yeah.
Something to kind of give some kind of symbol of office. I'll basically attach that to my belt and then start carrying the next dude back.
Okay. Yeah. So all told, gathered in the main building, you have, when Titus returns, about 19. Well, you have exactly 19 legionnaires that are fit for duty in some way, and 2 more that are badly injured but will heal in time. And an unconscious person on the floor.
I will keep working my way through the various soldiers. Once the worst around, I won't get them to come to me. I'll move around the building where the rest of them are probably just spread out, covering, just making sure that everyone has been seen, everyone has had cuts bandaged, everyone has had wounds cleaned, because there's a reasonable chance that someone will go, oh, it's just a scratch, and 5 days down the line they're not feeling well.
Yeah.
They might not want to admit they've been injured, so I'm going to make sure they aren't. And if they are, do what I can.
Okay. Yeah, maybe give me another medicine roll.
Okay.
We'll see if any suddenly drop out 5 days later.
Yeah, no.
You'll find out when it happens.
Yeah. Apparently I'm very trusting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have given such an exemplary account of themselves since you met them that why wouldn't you trust them completely?
Yeah. As far as my knowledge goes, there is nothing wrong. They are minor wounds.
Yep.
That they should heal
That's-
perfectly fine from, so long as they do well, do what I tell them.
They have some battle wounds, but nothing you wouldn't expect to see if they came out of a fight. But in this case, they seem to have. The ones that are left seem to be in fairly good shape, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
And what's Pandaren up to at the moment?
He's trying to revive this woman to find out what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
What in the god's name is going on? Shall I try medicine roll?
You can, yeah.
If I have
If
it,
you've
I'm
got
sure
medicine.
I do. Hold on. Pretty sure I do.
If Casa was here, he'd use threaten to
I
wake
do.
people up.
Medicine 1. Dissentia. This is 10.
Go
I'll
for
just
it.
roll a d10. Go. 7.
This is the bit where you're doing better on with 10 than I'm doing with 17.
Yeah.
It's all right. He did better on 10 than I did with 20, if that makes you feel better.
Okay. Yeah. She slowly stirs, looks at you, sort of indicates to you to drag her over towards a wall or a chair or something so that she can kind of lean against it, still mostly lying down and looking very exhausted. You notice that she has very large deep bags under her eyes now. It's almost as if she hasn't slept for weeks. And through a creaking voice, she says, Why did you take the bundles away?
Why didn't you tell us what they were?
Typical Roman obstinance, always getting in the way.
I'll have you know, I wasn't always a Roman. Now, who are you? And what's this all about?
I'm Euryclea.
You're a Claire.
Yeah.
Okay, you're a Claire?
Who might you be?
I'm Pandaren. Perhaps you've heard of me.
Can't say that I have.
Never mind then. Pandaren Mab Elad at your service. I'm an augur.
Well, that explains the magic, but I mean that just makes it even worse that you messed with the wards I'd set up.
Oh, you mean that backwards hocus pocus you were doing?
I'll have you know that backwards hocus pocus has been protecting this Castra for the last 3 weeks.
Right, indeed. And at what point did you think it would be a good idea to tell anyone what it was, in fact, that you were doing?
Well,
If you
not at
clearly-
all, because
Why?
clearly these people are out of their depth.
Indeed, but if you are perhaps an ally, or at least someone who doesn't want to see this place destroyed, it might be worth, informing people of what's going on rather than despairing at Roman arrogance when you are one who is being arrogant by not informing us of what you are doing.
Well, it didn't
He
really
says to the
look like
conscious woman laid out again.
Just looks at you, gives you a glare. And goes, well, if I hadn't had to spend the last weeks trying to track this thing to its source and battling agents of the sons of Epulon, sorry. There
Agents
you go.
of Epulon.
Epulon. Yeah.
Epulon. I see.
Yeah. Then I'd probably have had more time to talk to Roman officials in the area.
Well, where are my manners? Let me get you a drink, and you can tell me all about it, why you're chasing these things, and what the source is of what. I'll find her a drink.
Do you find her a drink, or do you just like grab a mug and empty it out and get some water somewhere? Now, she gladly accepts your drink. But before we get to any explaining of things, how are the rest of you doing? And is Pandaren going to tell anyone else about the magic lady?
If there's a guard nearby, or any legionnaires or whatever,
Yeah, there's a few.
The
ones that originally came up with Lucius and you in the first place.
To two of them
started,
and say, "Go find my kin now."
Yeah, they'll march off and inform Lucius and Titus.
Yeah, I'd probably have been prowling around the Castra somewhere, still checking nooks and crannies for any survivors or wounded.
Yeah. At this point, you're not really finding anyone who's still alive. Yeah.
Yeah, once I'm satisfied I've checked it, I'll just return to the central building.
I will continue to make my rounds, make sure everyone is reasonably patched up, and also try and check in to see if I can find where Cass has got to and if he's okay, and check on the other three. I trust that they would have come to me if they were hurt, but just to make sure that they're not so badly hurt and I haven't lost anyone.
Cass is sort of running around shouting at people at the moment.
Is he still bleeding from where this thing took swipes at him?
Probably.
I will try and get him to sit down long enough for me to actually bandage him up so he can continue to run around shouting at people without falling over. He might listen to me.
Yeah,
I say might.
We'll say he does because he's not here to decide, so, yeah, sure. You can roll on medicine. I don't know how many. Well, let me have a look. I could probably see how many wounds he's taken. If any. He seems to be alright at the moment. Don't think you really need to worry about it.
Okay, fair enough. In which case, then,
Mostly cuts, bruises.
If he's just not particularly badly hurt, then I will continue round until I encounter Pandaren and a mysteriously unconscious woman, or barely conscious woman.
Yeah. Semi-conscious at the moment. Yeah.
And offer a basic sort of offer to check her over and check that she's all right. She's quite obviously not.
She sort of waves you off and just says, "I'm fine. I just need to rest a bit. That spent too much of me battling these things for you."
I will sort of just nod for the moment, and then sort of I will leave. I'll sort of just leave her with Pandaren for the moment and go off and find a good strong wine somewhere. This is it's the commander's office. There should be something somewhere, and fortify it with some things that should help some herbs and stuff that medicinally should sort of help her, and then bring it back and sort of offer it as a secondary drink.
Okay. Yeah,
Try and-
she'll accept and take a healthy swig of it in one go and just sort of relax.
So are any of the remaining living legionaries, are any of them centurions or anything beyond legionary?
The 2 centurions in charge of it originally had died, and the only remaining sort of NCO kind of officer was the Optio.
All right,
He
so
was
literally
the Optio because
Yeah.
he was the only one left.
I think at this point, Roger, it's finding the last remaining living soldier with the highest, either with the longest serving,
How long have you
longest
been?
service remaining, and promoting him.
Yeah, I think we'll need to do that once people are a bit more conscious.
Yeah. Okay. So
For the moment, we'll let Casa deal with them.
Yeah. I'll hand the Optio's helmet to Casa and just be like, yeah,
find someone.
you need a new officer.
This lot need a new officer. See if you can find the one who's most qualified.
I'm sure Casa will find someone to plonk the helmet on their head. Yeah, basically the next few hours pass like that with this woman drifting in and out of consciousness as she slowly recovers, and you patching up the wounded and everyone trying to recover from what happened.
How does
All the
recovering hit
while,
points
this
work in
smoke
this?
is still very much thick in the air, but slowly dissipating. Hit points. So you have your maximum number.
Yeah.
If you look at your character sheet.
I've lost 3, but I was just seeing
Yeah.
how do they heal over time or?
Yes, but not very fast. It's like hit points, a few hit points healing over a matter of days. You can do first aid, a sort of medicine roll initially that will get you back a number of hit points, but it's not a lot. But I will look up exactly how many because I forget.
At some point when Lucius is done looking over everyone else, I'll kind of show him that I've probably got a small gash over my ribs where that bloke took a stab at me before.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that it's one of those ones, if you keep doing first aid on them, it sort of either increases the slow regeneration.
If the roll
over
is
time.
successful, the character recovers a number of hit points equal to the degree of success obtained. So 1 if it's 1, 2 if it's 2, and so forth. And then you check the treated box, which means that it'll heal quicker naturally.
Okay, yeah, I've not been treated yet.
But you're also, you're probably not that badly injured either.
No, I'm not. That's why it'd be literally after he's done with everyone else. It would be is this anything to worry about? Lifting up the chainmail. Or Lorica Hamata in a...
Yeah.
Any injury can be a problem, so it is always best to get checked. I will say loudly, just in case anyone's deciding that scratch on their arm is not all that dangerous to them.
Oh, you've met me before.
Okay, do you want me to roll for medicine then and see if I can?
Yes, yeah, you can roll for medicine and then, yeah. a check. So you're rolling against a 6. You need more than a 6, basically.
Okay, let me actually get things the right way round for the roll, because I'm obviously not. 12.
So that's a difference of 6, which should be 2. Yep. So you recover 2 hit points. Well, Titus recovers 2 hit points, and you get to check the
Like
treated
Cura.
box.
I'm assuming that's Secura.
Probably. I think.
It's the one next to the max hit points on the on the sheet, so I assume that's what it's for.
Yeah, Cura. It will be that one. I think, yeah. It's funny because in the book it says treated rather than cura, whereas everything else they put in.
Yeah.
Okay, but there you go. Dan is studiously thinking about what Pandaren going to do next.
Of course, not try to look up name of said Roman god.
Always useful.
Well, now that she's conscious, she could tell us the whole plan.
Yeah. So, yeah. Is there anything else you want to do at this sort of period? Otherwise, she's only really going to become completely conscious sort of towards the waning of the night as daytime sets in. A couple of hours will have passed, and it will slowly be becoming day after this furious nighttime battle. So yeah, Euryclea slowly wakes up and looks around her to find, I imagine, Lucius and Pandaren, if not also Titus and Casa, sort of standing around.
Good morning, Euryclea.
Is it? Yes. It feels
indeed.
like it's more of a rough morning.
Another glorious day.
They do seem to keep doing that.
So, what are you tracking? Where is it? And just what in the name of the gods is exactly going on?
Might I first ask who you people are and what it is that you think you're here to do?
We have been sent by the Roman authorities due to reports of problems in this area. We were directed here because of the unfortunate effect whatever is happening here has had on the senator, whose lands are not far from here. However, other reports of strange and mystical events we were told to investigate and see if there was any truth in these, and to help the existing Roman authorities in the area to combat what we could.
Seems like a difficult task for trying to work out who you are. Roman don't look like Roman soldiers.
We are not Roman soldiers, but we are employed by the authorities in Rome to investigate that which is beyond the Roman army's normal remit.
Huh.
Sometimes a shield and a gladius cannot fix everything.
That is definitely true, as that is usually where I come in.
But so are you from this region?
No. My looks at you kind of. My order is seated in Greece. But we too serve Rome in our way.
Perhaps shall we not speak of serving Rome, but serving best Rome's people?
Well, yes, but we serve Rome's people, obviously, but we are we only report to the very highest rungs of Rome's political.
We're not all part of the same secret organization, are we?
Do you say that?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Well, maybe you should say what organization you're part of, and I'll say what organization I'm part of, but I'm pretty sure we're not part of the same organization.
I doubt it.
Oh, really?
We answer. You said we're not soldiers. Technically, we are. We answer to the Praetorian Guard, and through them to the Emperor himself.
Well, we answer to the Empress, and it figures that Rome would have backups for this sort of thing.
Hold on. How do we know you're not our backup?
Well,
Yeah, I did
it. She looks at you all and says, "I'm part of the Order of the Dominicani. We're a sisterhood of sorts that the Empress founded to deal with threats that the army and the priesthood usually can't through exorcism and sorcery."
It sounds then that we are at least related in our tasks, if not directly connected. As you say, it's not entirely surprising with the politics of Rome that we would not coexist with no knowledge of each other, except perhaps at the highest level.
Seemingly. Well, then, I suppose we should probably discuss what's happening here.
Combined knowledge can only help. If there is only you here, then we are at least together a considerably more powerful and considerably more useful group than you alone wearing yourself out. I must ask though, how long have you been here? You say just under a month?
I've been here for just about a month now. It took some time to work out what was going on.
So
My
you have
order is spread a bit thin at the moment. There seems to be a sudden spring of similar threats across across this part of the Empire.
Suggesting that any help we can give to each other, any work we can do together, should only increase the security of Rome.
Certainly. And she lifts her hand up, and you can see it sort of shaking slightly. However, I don't know how much use I will be for the moment.
Your knowledge is more useful now than your powers, which you have so clearly displayed. If you can, whatever information you can give, we can then use. We are, as you can see, there are the four of us. We have the power, the manpower, the personnel, and perhaps skills that you lack that we can offer. And if nothing else, we can continue your work while you recover.
It would certainly be useful to have some extra power, especially there's a situation I've been struggling to overcome. Yes. So what do you know already of what is occurring here?
Very little. We have
Yes.
arrived, but 2 days ago in this region. We have had little chance but to speak with the legionaries here, a chance to visit with the senator and the people at his estate, and return again before the events have happened here. What little we know that has sent us here has been from one of the great oracles, but obviously such information is difficult to interpret at times. But the threat was potent enough that it was considered that something should be done, someone should be sent. If
the threat here is definitely that. I take it you've seen the armies in the night.
I've seen the army, but
and
not
you've
what's causing it. I don't think.
we had seen the army last night, and we had gained what information we could from the soldiers here in their most basic understanding. We believe we may also have caught sight of you last night, but we assumed that you were something related to the control of this rather than something watching over it.
I'll describe
Obviously
where
wrong.
I found her tracks.
Yes.
So I assume that was you.
Yeah. I've been moving about this area, trying to track these armies back to their source. But unfortunately, more physical threats have been halting my search.
I take it to be the Illyrians in the forests.
Yes, they seem to be drawn to whatever it is that has been
causing
there's
this.
some central focus here that has been drawing out these undead armies of these lemurs and larvae of long dead Illyrian soldiers.
Do you know where that is?
I haven't yet been able to get past the actual living soldiers.
So you believe you know roughly where, but these mercenaries seem to be intentionally guarding it, or simply drawn to it.
It's certainly them who have been guarding it, and also them who have been taking away or destroying my wards along the road to Pola each night. So far, I've managed to steer the army from its gates, but yeah, I fear one day they'll manage to find my wards before the night ends, and then we'll have a bigger problem.
So do you believe that they can direct them then? Or is it simply that whatever is unleashed is simply thirsting for the death of the living?
I'm not sure whether these Illyrians, they call themselves the Sons of Ep04, whether they are leading the armies to Pola, or whether they themselves are simply rallying to some power beyond their own understanding. But there does seem to be a focus here somewhere. You can almost sense it in the air. It's pretty powerful.
If you can give us what information using the maps and charts here to show us where, it may be that if you are, while you recuperate, and we would suggest that you remain here and recuperate here.
Yeah.
Under the protection of what remains of the Roman army, we can, if you can direct us, we may be able to find a way past through cunning or force of arms and locate this.
The question is, what are you going to do when you find your way to it?
If we can, then we discover what it is. We return, and with your help, we go back and we end it, whatever it may be. It is clear that your power and your speciality is with the dealing with the dead. Our skills are more broad, for we are trained and commissioned to investigate all of the strange and the occult, whereas it seems you are more directed in your aims. If we can get you there, knowing what physical dangers exist, then you may be able to help us deal with the more magical events that are occurring here.
Can certainly try, but at the moment I'm fairly drained myself of
we can at least gain you as much time as possible to rest. It will take us time to find what is happening, and certainly given the events here, we cannot act once the night comes, which limits our time.
So she will give you a kind of location, in as far as basically she'll trace out the routes, the different routes that the army, the spectral army that you've already encountered, has been seen to take. And a lot of it seems to head eastwards, either through that large forest. If you have the handout map open, the little handout map that I made, the large forest to the north of the Castra, or along the old road beneath it, Then also they've come up or come down from just straight down from the northern road and that sort of area.
So anywhere north and
Yeah.
east of where we currently are, basically.
That is her assessment as well.
And
but
heading
the entire
towards
region to the northeast, seems to be protected in some way, but their destination tends to be towards Pola.
Okay, so their passing of the estate is purely because that's the direction.
Yeah, she's also been warding the roads, so oftentimes that's moved their route in some way. And basically it's been a kind of running nightly battle to push them away from the city. But lately there's been more and more eyes in the western part, in the hills towards the west of the road, which is similar to sort of what you've seen as well.
That's where we've seen the sort of groups of the mercenaries, isn't it?
And they appear to be camping out there in an attempt to kind of ambush her and stop her from warding the roads at night.
Does she believe that they know it's her, or do they just know that someone is trying to thwart them?
As far as she's aware, they're just looking for someone suspicious at night, as generally the roads are completely empty. So far she hasn't been actually caught, but in similar terms to trying to move to the northeast, can't really find a way to get around them sufficiently. So
I suppose the only
it's becoming harder to,
I suppose the thing to ask then is, does she know how many of them there are? Or how many does she think there are? So we've got any idea of what we're facing.
Eurocleia sort of tries to count it out. I can't be entirely certain of the numbers, but I've definitely encountered at least 5 different individuals in the west now along the hills on looking out.
If I describe the ones we met, does that sound like what the people she's seen? Even basically,
especially the one you mentioned. If you mention you've talked, the one you talked to,
the one I talked to, the one who seems to be in charge in some way.
She'll say that she has also seen him leading the effort to block her off to the northeast as well.
He gets around then.
Yeah. But to the northeast, she's not certain of their numbers, but definitely at least the same again. However, she's encountered like lots of smaller patrols and guards on pathways, and patrolling the land in groups of 2s and 3s. So it may well be more, but
perhaps. But we could easily get past them, I feel.
I won't say easily, but we have.
We have a Titus who's very good at that sort of thing.
That's what we have. We have the skills within the group to do it, or at least to try.
Just all sort of climb on Titus's back, and he sneaks through.
I believe.
Yeah. The trick is how quickly we can do it. If it takes too long, especially if our new friend is out of commission for any length of time, that gives them time to clear the way and remove as many wardings as possible. We might have to attempt to supplement her efforts, shall we say, in the nights.
She can definitely show you how to make the bundles and potentially show Pandaren how to bless them properly.
Yeah. Even if she can create them, and we can get them blessed, and we can stupidly go out in the night and do what we can, may be helpful.
She'll
the quicker we can
mention that blessing your weapons and armor in a temple will probably also make them at least in some way effective against the larvae.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I think one of us is going to have to go back to Paula.
Why?
One, there is a temple. If we send them with at least a weapon from each of us, we can have them blessed. Also, now this caster is supposed to hold us at least a century. There's less than a quarter of that left. Most of them injured and wounded. Even if we can deal with this, they can't be left with no trained commander at less than a quarter strength in a location that has already been attacked in multiple ways and is known to be a weak point. The Roman army must send something to strengthen this region if this is allowed to be happening. If we return to Pola, we can at least send a message back to Rome to request forces be sent on the authority of the Praetorian Guard.
Convenience sake, I'd be willing to allow Aleko to be that both messenger and searcher of blessings if it's easier for everyone. Just because he's not here right now. Unless you particularly
logically, it would have made sense for it to be me.
Yeah, it would probably be. Although you're probably going to be needed to scout out.
Yeah.
Always send the new Optio as well. Optio 2.
I would your ability. Go there, random mook. I believe in you.
How far is it to Pola?
Fail us. It was pretty much like a dayish is travel. Basically, it was far enough travel that you could travel by horse now though. If you take one of the casters, if there are any left, few remaining horses.
I'll go check.
Yeah. Roll, did I do that?
Oh no, not if it's me. Oh, crap. It involves me rolling. We're all screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, on horseback, it would be possible.
On horseback, yeah, it's like half a day probably. You could make it there and back before nightfall if you set off.
If you set off
now,
at dawn.
Perhaps we could send Aleko with a legionary escort.
Find one of the ones that can ride.
Can I see how many of the horses are still...
You know what? Just roll a d6 and we'll see how many horses are left.
So one it is.
One's enough.
Oh, two.
Two horses.
So, yeah, we'll send a Lecco with
Lecco and a
a
bodyguard.
legionary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Find one who can ride, because they can't all necessarily ride if they're infantry.
No.
Find someone who can actually
a
ride.
Lecco will find one that can ride.
Yeah. And isn't too badly injured.
Yeah.
Someone with a leg wound that can stand to be on horse, that can still use his arms properly.
Okay. And what are you sending anything with them, or
Perhaps you should prepare a missive for him to. Have
Yeah,
sent back
I
to
will.
Rome.
I will prepare. I will prepare 2 messages. One back to our commanders in Rome to be sent to be put on a ship that is heading towards Rome or the ports near Rome as soon as possible, with effectively sealed as such that it gets there as quickly as possible. And one using the seal of the commander for here back to the city. Basically back to the city authority.
Yeah, they have a council there made up of like the important people in town.
There's no garrison there, is there?
There's sort of more of a guard force for the city itself, but they're more police than they are.
Yeah. It's not a military. It's not a military one. It's a civilian guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll also send a message back to that council from the commander of the fort, from the commander of the Castra, not naming any names, as a warning that encounters in the region suggest a threat to the city, and that the garrison has been depleted by its fight against them, and that the city should look to its defenses, especially at night, and a watch be set, as we believe that there is something that may attempt to attack the city at night. So a watch should be set and warnings put out that there is a danger, and for the people to be wary.
It would be great if you were just forthright and it's like, ghosts will attack your city. Please.
Yeah, but if I send that, they will assume that the commander of the garrison has gone mad out in the
Probably.
wild.
Yeah. No, it seems fair. That seems like, I will
suggest to them that there is a real threat. I can even mention that there have been mercenaries sighted in the region. That should probably get their attention.
Yeah. Okay. So you
and
send
then when
Aleco,
the ghosts attack the city because we can't stop them, then
at least they'll.
I think we need to redefine the word ghost. They probably won't, believe us.
No, that's why I'm saying that there is a threat that is expected to come in the night. And I'm not mentioning ghosts or spirits or demons of the underworld in any way, shape, or form.
Excellent.
I'm going to tell them there's a mercenary force that might be coming for the city.
Seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do anything about the weapons and armor and stuff, or?
What's in the ones from the dead people, or?
It's having something blessed.
Yeah.
It's having our weapons blessed, so we actually have a chance of hurting things that otherwise are completely ignored by mundane weapons.
All right. Well, I'll make sure that Legionary is carrying a big bundle of arrows. And a big friggin' knife.
Yeah.
Dunno.
Okay.
You two want clubs or anything?
I already have one.
Yeah.
I'm blessed.
I will
Ah,
send.
yes.
I will send my dagger and the bag of sling shot I have
Yeah.
with him, because that's very little in terms.
There's also, anything that's available in the Castro you could, within reason that they could carry, you could send with them. Spears, shields,
My
armor,
buckler.
and yeah.
And sod it, my chainmail as well. I can borrow one from the. I'm assuming there's armor in the caster. I can borrow
Yeah,
in the meantime.
There's have a look what they're equipped with.
If nothing else,
So,
there's
there's gladius, spears, pilums, fudules, lorica, hamatas, and clippus available.
I think I'll stick with
Perfect.
my trusty stick.
Big old Gandalf stick.
it may be worth sending, say, 2 or 3 spears, 2 or 3 swords, 2 or 3 spears, 2 or 3 gladius. It's pointless sending the throwing weapons because they're only really one use anyway.
Yeah, no.
And
Between them,
maybe-
they can carry a few spears and swords with them as well.
Yeah, just they may look. It's the whatever is reasonable to be carried as a small bundle or strapped without unduly burdening the horse, and whatever sort of weapons from our group that we want to send. I mean, adding a dagger and a bag of slingshots not much. Adding a bundle of arrows is not too bad.
Yeah, dagger
They're
and
also,
gladius.
expecting
Cass
to be
carrying
there
his
and
own
back
weapons.
in a day, so they're not really heavily loaded themselves with traveling
Food
equipment. So it's just
Yeah, they should be able to change horses in town anyway.
Yeah, so
that does mean they're going to be, as dawn reaches the sky, they're going to be gone for the rest of the day with anything you send with them.
that's what we have to do.
Yep.
I think.
Okay.
And that leaves us 3 to deal with the aftermath and see what we can find.
So, at this point, the bundle of herbs has burnt out in the brazier. Smoke has been taken away on the wind. And a lot of the Castra does look like nothing has happened. Save for the doors that have been broken inwards. Parts of the wall where
Buds.
the bundles didn't quite reach, that have been torn down slightly to crawl over. And then, obviously there's the corpses that the Legionnaires are now dealing with. And also these strange, very pale corpses of whatever it was that attacked you. Still laying there.
I think at this point there's a few things we have to do. And I think it's probably the first one is Pendarin, and with the help of our new friend and maybe 1 or 2 soldiers, get those bundles back exactly where they should be to cover the whole Castra wall again. And if there's any missing, perhaps it's time for Pandaren to start learning how to make them.
Indeed.
Because technically we've only burned one, and we do have one extra.
Yeah.
Well, I've got one at my belt at the moment.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Kaza
but
had
it's-
one on his person. He tied it to his shield.
Well, she can make some more as well, can't she?
Yeah, she is willing to show you how to make them
Oh, that's very kind.
and how to bless them properly. So
Yeah, that's one thing to do. We've got to get all of the bodies out of the Castra and dealt with, because that's just otherwise a recipe for disaster. And I'm more than happy to help the legionaries find and move all of their fallen comrades out to wherever they've been laying them to rest. Oh no, they've been putting them in the barracks,
Yeah.
haven't they?
yeah, there's a bunch of them in the barracks, and then there's the ones outside the walls that
They buried
that
those
they
ones,
buried,
didn't they?
and those were the ones that they had the problem with, because they were the ones that would
Just stand and watch.
spectrally stand and stare at them all night.
Yeah. Well, we'll collect up the bodies, and we'll have to, I think, at least for today, we'll have to do what they have been doing. Just fill the empty barrack rooms with the fallen, and then
Yeah.
when we have more time, give them a proper send off to the underworld when they're not likely to come back.
Yeah. So yeah, any legionnaires you set to that will go about it with not enthusiastically. They kind of don't want to do it, and morale seems to be at an all-time low around the Castra, but they'll get it done.
Yeah. I'll certainly help them move.
Yeah.
Find and move all the bodies.
One of them asks you, and you notice he's sort of got the Optio's helmet on, but it's slightly too big for his head and sort of slanted sideways.
It's a jaunty angle.
Yeah. So what do you want us to do with these things? And he points out one of the corpses of the attackers.
I'll say these do not belong with your fallen brothers, but they also deserve a proper return to Pluto's realm. For the moment, I mean, at this point, there must be a reasonable amount of material.
Probably.
Tell them to take them. Basically, once we've dealt with the bodies of the legionaries, get a small number to pick up the few bodies of whatever that remain, take them outside the Castra walls, and do our best to burn them.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they set about that. They're moving their brethren into the barracks and moving these other ones outside and creating a rather large bonfire. After a while, you see thick smoke go up as they set it alight.
It's not going to be a nice smell around here for a little while.
Probably not. So, what else does everyone want to do during the course of this day?
Because I'm guessing that's going to take me at least 2/3 of the day just to deal with.
Well, it depends if you're just setting them to the task.
Well, I'm
They
going
will
to
deal
help
with it.
them as well. I am
Yeah.
going to help with it because I'm also going to try and gently raise morale as I'm working with them.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
probably
that'll probably
help,
take you
but not with
into
the
the
morale
early
bit.
afternoon anyway, in
Yeah.
that case.
That's sort of what I expected.
Can you give me a command roll then to see
I can.
if you manage to bolster their morale?
The command, that gives me a 14 to roll, so
D10 and a D4.
yeah, probably best.
3d4s.
I'll add
3D
a D12.
Yeah, I've got 14.
Oh, it's 14,
two
yeah,
D4s
sorry.
and
a
Yeah,
D6.
I was thinking, yeah.
Hmm?
2d4s and
2 D4s and a D6.
That might be better. Come on. 7. So, yeah,
Average.
average.
it picks up. They are certainly like, you occasionally hear kind of grim joke go up, and everyone doesn't quite chuckle or laugh, but they grunt an appreciation. They seem to be getting it done, whether they're happy about it or not, but they're definitely,
There's no reason to be happy, but at least they're alive.
yeah, they're dealing with it.
Yeah. I'll also try and surreptitiously slip the new Optio some advice on
Pad your helmet so that it's
on command, which includes, at the first instance, taking the helmet off him, fixing the strapping inside so it's the right size for his head, putting it back on him, and going, if you're going to lead these men, then you have to at least look like you know what you're doing. Once if you can have them believe you at least know what you're doing, then they will follow you, and you will learn what you need to do to lead these men. And see if I can sort of nudge him in the right direction gently before Casa gets back and starts yelling at him.
Perhaps you should give him some of the orders from you to issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah,
the men
that's
get
the
used
thing.
to taking commands from him.
Give me a command roll for him as well, and we'll see how well
my
you've
command?
managed. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. That's
At the moment, he's sort of just relaying what you're telling him.
let's see
but
if he
it's
picks
whether
up.
he does it in a commanding way of himself, and it seems like orders coming from him to them, or
Rather
whether
than-
it's just obvious that he's just saying whatever you tell him to do.
I've got an 8 for that.
Yeah, it like he starts off a bit hesitantly, but towards the end of it, you hear him shout a few things on his own initiative, and you see people scurry off to do it. There's some potential there, but everyone's still getting back into the swing of things.
Show enough confidence in him that we trust that he can do the job, and let that trickle down.
Yeah.
And they only take over if we have to, sort of thing.
Yeah. So Titus and Pandaren, what are you doing in the meantime throughout the morning?
I'd be helping with the donkey work, basically. Unless someone says, hey, we need you to go look at a thing over there.
It might, some help to start with might be good, but it might be worth, at the height of the day, taking a chance to have a look around outside, because we got to work out where this is coming from. And the sooner we do it, the better.
Oh, if you want me to look around, I'll do that first thing.
Give yourself the greatest amount of time to see what you can find.
All right, I will see if I can figure out where these, at least the walking corpses, came from. Because I'd
Yeah.
imagine they should be relatively easy to track, given there was a lot of them.
Yeah.
There are these areas outside the Castra that seem rather well trodden now in the last few nights. You can also potentially follow Euroclea's footsteps back towards the places she's been, as you roughly know where her tracks are and where they lead into the forest. You also know where they lead off around the outskirts of the forest, also towards the east. So you can follow any of those. You can just get a general sense towards the east, northeast of where you should be heading. But then after a while, it moves off into sort of hill land and some low marshes and things beneath it. And you're going to have to put some exploration effort into trying to track your way through it.
Ten.
Yeah. Oh, you manage to find a path through, and as you do, you're sort of still at the bottom of a hill, but you're pretty sure ahead of you, through some shrubs and vegetation, it seems to be leading to this disused road that is pretty much completely covered in plants and reclaimed by the surrounding wilderness. But while you're there, you can already spot a couple of men guarding the road.
Okay, I mean, once I started countering that, that's going to be right. That's the right direction. Then I'm going to back off and return to the Castra. I'll just kind of slink away.
As you back off, can you give
Can I
me
do
a
it stealthily?
sensibilitas roll,
Oh.
or you can roll for stealth? Yeah, I'll let you do that as well. Either the corpore stealth or sensibilitas.
Okay, I'll go with stealth as it's one higher. 13.
Seems fair. Wonder if I can buy myself 3 rolls.
6.
You're trying your very best to be quiet. Up until the moment an arrow flits past your head and embeds into the hillside next to you.
How many of them are around me?
You can see 2. One of them's holding the bow and arrow. He's just released the arrow towards you, and the other one has a spear.
Yeah, I'm just going to try legging it.
Wait.
Because that's what heroes do.
Seems fair.
I'm not going to try a 2-on-1 fight. I'm not a Kaza.
What? Ever not?
because I know what my Debello score is.
Set this up for you. And there you go. So yeah, you're about
battle map
here-ish. Yep. And let's see if I can pull that over better for the people at home so that they can actually see what's going on in the center. There you go. Okay. So yeah, they've clearly seen you, and one of them's fired an arrow. The other one with the spear is getting ready to give chase.
Okay. Before I leg it, can I shoot the one with the spear? And then start running.
Yes. If you do, though, the one with the arrow is going to get another shot at you.
When you get another shot at me anyway.
Yeah, but it'll be more difficult because you'll be further away.
All right, I will run and try and put myself in between that tree. I'll have that tree in between myself and the guy with the bow. So kind of that way, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, give me a athletics roll. Just trying to make sure you're visible on the map.
Does that help?
Yeah. Yep. That's perfect. There you go.
What's that? Athletics? I don't have.
Well, so the corpori, because you're just running at this point.
Six.
And we'll see about them. Well, they're apparently pretty good at that. So, yeah. Yeah. So the one with the spear sort of manages to half catch up with you. He's pretty much behind you now. To here. And the other one with the bow moves up a couple of steps and fires again, wanging after you. We'll see how that does.
Hopefully further away with a tree in between us might help.
Yeah, no, it does miss you.
Okay, I'm going to take a few steps, shoot the guy that's close to me, and then, hopefully bolt after.
So, roll to shoot first. They're pretty much almost on top of you. So that's going to be ranged attack. At short range is a free. think.
10.
Yeah. Oh, it hits anyway. So that would be a 3 times. Yeah. So your damage times 3.
18.
Ooh. Roll for it.
Ooh, that's not bad. 14.
A 14. Yeah. Oh no, wait. It's times 2. Sorry, because they have a shield.
So 9 are my first 2 dice.
9.
4
Yeah.
and 5.
Yeah, it's not quite enough to take him out, but it hits him square on. And to be honest, you're not quite entirely sure why he's still standing up, because that arrow was dead on the mark and stops for a second holding it. But we'll try to kind of catch up with you. So you can roll athletics again, and then we'll do a contested roll in that. But I'll say, because of the difficulty, reset a level. Yeah, no. Manages to kind of keep up with you, sort of just leave him where he is. The similar, distance, but not quite catch you up.
Would he be encumbered
anyway.
now?
He's not really encumbered. He's just very badly wounded.
Oh, I was just wondering because of the wounds and endurance thing.
Yeah. Doesn't really happen to
bad guys,
NPCs and adversaries yet.
Fair enough.
They're mean in that way. Basically, they're different in that they have a kind of set dice value. So in this case, it's a D4. And depending on what skill you use, they either have 1, 2, or 3 of them.
Cool.
So yeah, similar situation again. The furthest one is gonna try and shoot at you again. Misses. Thunk. Seems to be even further off than the first shot.
All right. I'll do the same again. Move a bit and fire for the one running after me.
Yeah.
Because racing does not appear to be my thing. I'm going to use my Pietas ability, seeing as I doubt a 6 is going to hit.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
All right, so yeah,
equal.
I'll spend 6 Pietas.
You
roll.
can spend if it's equal. That's another thing that I often my players often forget as well. If it's equal, although I don't know if you can do it in combat. If it's equal, you're allowed to spend 1 Pietas to push it 1 above, so that it would become a 7. Then in that case, in order to succeed.
I'll just.
But then you have the bare minimum of success.
I'll just spend the 6, so I roll again and add it to that.
Yeah, that'll probably hit then.
So another 9, so 15.
Yeah. Okay. So
that for the people at home was my special thing, which is my combat talent, Hunter of Men. I may use Denatura. Well, oh no, sorry, it's Divine Protection. By spending 6 Pietas, I can, for the Explorer that has rolled Denatura, I can re-roll the same dice pool and add the second result to the first. That kind of doubles up with my Hunter and Men thing because I use Dinatura for my bow rather than Debello.
Yeah. No, that's great. Still 3 times. So in this case it's 3 times plus 2. No, it's 2 again. He still has a shield. Keep forgetting shields.
4.
That'll do it though. The second arrow kind of hits the other side of his chest and drops his shield at this point, and is just holding on to these 2 arrows stuck in his chest and slowly slumping over.
I mean, should I alert him, just walk up and fire a third at point blank?
It's a one-man army.
By heroically running away.
Strategically, heroically running away.
There's still a last one on you, so if you want to roll athletics, you can, or blatherletics as
Blathletics.
Blathletics when you're blathering, but swagger it in with style.
6. Well, I'm a bit tempted to turn and fight now that there's one archer that's technically not as good as me. Oh,
Yeah, it's a 6, so you manage to sort of, yeah. It stays roughly the same, but let's put him back here. She's not actually going to shoot at you. Sort of runs over to her colleague to bend down, and then slowly starts backing away.
Okay, I'm going to shoot
with
her.
An arrow trained on you as she goes.
I know. I thought when she stops to bend down, that's what a hero does. Wait till their back's turned.
She doesn't quite, bend down like that, but sort of kneels next to him with the arrow trained, and then starts backing away. At this point, they've kind of run you back off towards the forest as well, even if one of them has died. You can shoot at her if you want.
Yeah, why not? Ooh, 16.
That'll do it. That'll definitely hit. And that's gonna be yeah. Got a bow in her hand, so she doesn't have the shield up. That's gonna be times 4.
Times 4.
How?
Yeah.
18.
That arrow.
Does he just put it through the throat?
Bow and darts in between those rock outcroppings you can see there, just skips over the top of the one and deflects straight into her throat, and she collapses over, gurgling, and falls silent.
Cool. I'm going to actually go over and inspect them, see if there's anything of interest I can take back to people that know stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Looking
in that
for
case,
tattoos, papers, anything like that.
Roger, recover your arrows. Recover your arrows so they don't know who did it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 2 dead people. I think they'll probably take a wild guess that someone murdered them.
Dump the dead people in a bush. Hide the bodies.
Yeah, sure. I'll let you roll on hunting for that, because I know you have that.
Obviously, I'm going to check them over first, but yeah, I will.
Yeah. So check them over is investigation de ciencia, or depends. What are you looking for exactly?
I'm looking for anything that identifies who they are, such as tattoos, papers, coins.
Yeah, that is sort of more of an investigation kind of role as well.
So to ciencia.
Yep.
Believe, gents. Believe. 5, slightly above average.
The only thing you do kind of notice is they have similar tattoos to those you saw on the people who tried to kill you at the vineyard.
Okay, they don't. Have
Other than
anything else
that,
on
you
them.
don't really notice anything else on them of worth.
Okay, I mean, I'll take like the spear, or if they've got a blade or something on them, just in case that could.
Yep.
Prove
The
anything to-
first one that you shot has a spear and a clippus on him.
All right, I'll take those just in case that could shed any light on anything, and a bit of their cloth as well, just again in case, because but these guys might know something.
Yeah.
And then I'll stuff them in a bush. So that was hunting.
So
wasn't it?
yeah, that was a hunting roll.
Uh, 10. About average.
Yeah, no, that's enough. You do hear kind of shouting because in the distance, but by that time, you've hidden the bodies and you're moving away. So anyone who comes looking for them is not going to immediately find them.
Cool. Yeah, I will disappear as quickly as I can. Or as quietly as I can, probably more accurately.
Okay, you just returning to the Castra then?
Yeah, heading back to the Castra. And I
Okay.
did recover my arrows as well.
Well, you fired 3 shots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roll a d3, see how many of them survived.
1. I wasn't that bothered about if they'd survived or not. It was more just hiding the evidence.
Yeah.
You got the one out of the throat. The other ones might be a bit
Yeah.
wedged in the
Yeah.
rib cage.
You managed to snap off the ends of all of them, but the 2 that were embedded in the first man's chest, you probably you snapped off the ends eventually because you couldn't pull them free or cut them free.
All right. Yeah.
You didn't have time. So
hang the ends off
there
and
are
smack
arrows
them
in there, but they have to find him first and then look him over properly to
An arrowhead
realize.
doesn't tell you much.
Yeah. And after that, you move back along to the Castra. That where you encountered the guard along this old, almost disappeared road that you found was a couple of hours out from when you'd moved past the forest away from the Castra.
Okay, I mean,
So that's the outer
assuming I will
perimeter,
know
at
how to
least
get
as
there.
far as you know how to get back. But yeah. Pandaren, what were you going to do in the meantime?
Well, I think my little thing is probably going to be a bit boring. I was going to rest.
You feel
recruit
deeply
from
well
because of
rested.
last night's, magic and
Yeah.
stuff, and being up all night, keeping an eye on the woman. I don't think I'll be awake, so I'll probably be taking a chance to rest and recuperate.
That's a good idea because I was going to see who was going to sleep and who wasn't, and then start.
Oh, I'll be asleep for the ambushes.
Start penalizing people who've been up for several nights now, basically. But yeah, no. Okay. Do you want to do anything else?
Pray. If the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, you can pray here in the same sort of shrine area that you have before. I will say I'm not going to just keep giving you Pietas back, so it won't in and of itself help. Do you want to make any of those bundles of herbs?
If I have time left, yes.
Yeah, no. Euroclear will teach you what herbs are necessary. And most of them come from that forest area nearby where Titus initially tracked her. So, yeah, you can gather them together. And if you want, roll the magia, and we'll see how well you do at making these warding bundles.
Oh. Just magia. Again.
I mean, you should be pretty good at that.
Seven.
It's the highest I've seen on a D10 from any of you. So.
4. Oh, okay, 7, 2, and 3.
So 12 in total, yeah. Yeah, you managed to learn how to make them quite quickly. And you're pretty sure that their wards are very strong now. And you make enough to surround the Castra for the coming night. At the least, and maybe a few more.
Oh, good.
Okay. We just check the time because it's getting on a bit.
10 past 11.
Yeah. So we'll say as late afternoon draws in, a horse or two gallop back along the road in your direction as Casimir returns with the Legionnaire, carrying equipment with them on fresh horses. And yeah, we'll find out what happened to Kaza next time. But he seems to have returned at least
safely.
Is he at least in one piece?
Yeah, safely, and your equipment seems to be there as well. So, yeah. I think though we'll probably leave it there for now, as it's past midnight here for me, and it's getting on a bit for you lot in the UK as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching tonight on Carl Black Games. Thank you to my players for playing. Obviously, are there any last things you wanted to do? By the way, sorry because I cut that off a bit right before we go. Or
did I get back to the Castra?
Yeah. You got back. Okay.
I think it's rest the afternoon away while Pendarin's active. We'll rest, so we actually get a couple of hours before it gets dark.
Before night falls again.
Put the kettle on is.
Yeah. So yeah, you have sufficient bundles to last, or to surround the Castra again to last the night. You have a few spare as well. Kaza has returned with hopefully blessed armor and weapons in tow and messages delivered. And you've tracked down at least the outer rim of where you need to be, most likely, or where this is all coming from. And you're kind of waiting out the rest of the day for the coming of night as you rest and prepare for the dangerous night ahead. Okay. As to what's on Garblag Games this week, I mean, I can tell you with some certainty that tomorrow we're playing the One Ring. Because Roger will be there with me for that as well. Yeah. For the rest of the week.
For those of you.
And there isn't a
Friday,
single elf
Aaron
in the party.
Aaron is playing running Monster of the Week.
Yep.
For the group, so TPK there.
So yeah, come watch Agent Anderson die horrifically.
Yeah, as Aaron brutally murders all of them.
Yeah.
Don't think there's anything happening over the weekend or Monday.
No.
Tuesday is back to Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Wednesday, I believe, is a Wrath and Glory.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah. Ben is going to be running Wrath and Glory.
And
back round to the One Ring. Yep. Okay. Well, once again, thank you to my wonderful players, and thank you everyone at home for watching. And we've been Garblag Games. Stay safe out there and enjoy the rest of your week. Good night. Bye.